Hi, this is Dr. Darnese coming at you again with another installment of my videos on self-care, specifically on how to care for yourself when you have fibroids. And if you've watched the other couple of videos, I've been talking to you about self-care, about taking care of your health specifically, about how you cannot just continue to put other people's welfare before your own because your own health can suffer. And one of the ways that our health suffers is with this condition known as fibroids. These masses that can grow inside of the uterus, inside and outside, all around, and cause so much physical pain and also just um, I don't know. I keep saying drain the life out of you, and literally because you are losing so much blood, you're becoming anemic, you don't have energy, you don't have a zest for life, it's hard to enjoy things, can't be spontaneous, you lose a lot of your sex life because just too much bleeding, too long, too often. Um, and so in the last video, I talked about my myomectomy. One option you might have is to have the fibroids removed surgically. And that was, regular surgery, remove the fibroid. It worked well for me for a number of years. But, if you've been looking into fibroids at all, you probably have come across information that says that they do tend to come back if you're still in your fertile childbearing years. And so that is what happened to me after the myomectomy. About, I'm going to say 7 years or so, 7 to 8 years later, they were back. The fibroids were back, and I had to figure out what I was going to do, this time around. I did not want to have another surgery, the myomectomy. I mean, as I think about it, I would have. I mean, if there hadn't been another option, I would not have just continued to live with them. Because as I said, it just zaps your life. It diminishes the quality of your life greatly. So if it had come to it, I would have had the myomectomy again. But the other option that was available and is now is the uterine artery embolization procedure. And that's when they go in, the doctor goes in to embolize the artery that is between your uterine wall and the fibroid itself. So, as I mentioned before, the artery, if you think of it as like your finger coming out of your uterus, the lining of the uterus feeding into this mass, the fibroid is feeding blood continually, so it's growing and growing and growing. Well, with the embolization procedure, they can go in and basically fry this so that it no longer serves as blood, a source of blood for the fibroid. And so the fibroid basically just shrinks and shrivels and dies. So that's the procedure that I had the second time around. And, a lot less invasive. My recovery time, I think, was, let's see, it was over spring break, which is a week. I'm a college professor, so I know I told the doctor, I said, I really only have the week of spring break. Otherwise, I'm going to have to postpone it until the summer. But he assured me, that women all the time just took a week off from work and they were back, the following week. So I trusted him on that. And pretty much, I mean, yeah, I was ready to go back to school uh, the following week. I will say though that had I been a different teacher like a K through 12 and I had to stand up all day, that would have been very difficult. But because I'm in a college environment, having one class at a time, I could stand up for a couple of hours and then go back to my desk and kind of keep shorter work days for a while. But overall, I mean, it worked well, and I didn't have any long-term issues around it. Um, yeah, again, the key I think is finding a good doctor, one who you can really talk to, who listens to you, who understands your concerns, who's not trying to rush you into something, who's not trying to push you just to have the hysterectomy, even if you're 45 and a half. If you don't want to have a hysterectomy, you don't have to have a hysterectomy. So, find a doctor who gets that and who has some good experience doing other kinds of treatment options. And so, again, I was fortunate in having a doctor who was a good doctor. I will say, in preparation for this embolization procedure, um, well, it really wasn't so much in preparation. It was the amount of medication they gave me during and after was just way too much. And so I would caution anybody, about uh, prescription painkillers. I mean, honestly, they gave me an opiate kind of painkiller. So like fentanyl, a fentanyl patch on my neck, which I didn't even know was there because I was out of it. When I woke up, I didn't even know I had something on my neck. This is an outpatient procedure, so I didn't even spend the night. They just transferred me to a facility, another medical facility, but I did not spend the night in the hospital. But I was just under a nurse's care while, kind of medication wore off, even though it didn't wear off because they kept giving me so much. So I had that fentanyl patch, and then they were giving me, I think once every 12 hours, some kind of oxycodone or oxycontin, I don't even know, one of those oxy drugs. That was one every 12 hours, and then every 4 hours, Percocet on top of that. That is way, 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 way too much, opiate kind of drug. And about 2 days after being on that for 2 days at home, I just quit taking it. I just quit taking it and only took what I needed for my own pain management because that stuff is like heroin. I mean, really, the opiate family is a heavy, heavy drug, and that's the same kind of medication that heroin is. So you don't want to be on your pain meds longer than you have to be. So that embolization procedure, though, less invasive than a full surgery. There's no real incision other than a very, very small incision to get the tubing in, I guess, through the groin area. So you don't have any big major cut to worry about. What I did not mention before in the video when I talked about my myomectomy. In healing, I did end up with a scar, with a keloid. For those Black women, Black people, we keloid when we have a scar. And so for probably a couple of years, I had a keloid scar along my bikini area, but who cares? And then it eventually faded anyway. So from the embolization, I didn't have even a keloid from that incision, as small as it was. And really, it just took care of the fibroid situation. That's been probably 10 years ago. Time so flies, my gosh. 9 or 10 years, and I haven't had any problem since having that embolization procedure. So, don't worry. What I want to convey, from talking to women in hair salons, and, I'll hear a woman talking about it, or how bad her cramps are, or how much she's bleeding, or, really a giveaway to anemia is women who snack on ice all the time, or a big old cup of ice. That is a giveaway of anemia. And when I see that, I'll ask a woman, if I feel like I can, I'll walk up to a complete stranger on the street, but, sitting around a hair salon for a while, or chatting with her for some other reason, I'm like, are you anemic? Because I used to do that too when I had fibroids and bleeding all the time, and, that leads into a conversation. And what comes up so often is that we're just scared. We're just scared. We're embarrassed, and we don't know who to ask or who to turn to. So that's the reason why I'm making these videos, is to say there are options out there. There are people to talk to. You can leave me an email, a comment here, and I will respond to you and let you know what I think. I'm not a physician. My doctorate, again, is I'm a college professor. My doctorate is religion and history. So, you would have to consult a physician for exactly what all you want to do, but I'm just here sharing my experience, what worked, what my other options were. And I hope that, if you've been on the fence about it, if you've been scared, or you've been just afraid of that, be cut open, do your due diligence, find a good doctor, find a good hospital, but you can do it and you don't have to suffer. So, Again, what led me to this is my book that I'm writing, 40 something. And if you want a free excerpt from the book that I'm writing, you can go to 40somethingthemovement.com. I'll put that link in the details box below, 40somethingthemovement.com. And just you can download it there for free. All right, bye for now.